Jealousy. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? We are back on the stream. We are back. We are live. Let me just get myself in focus. Minimize all these pages. Don't want to be fighting for bandwidth here. What's up, everyone? I hope everybody is good. I'm glad to be back. This is stream day 8. And if you are joining me for the first time, this is Swag Dummy Inc. TV, where we'll be providing advice on fitness businesses, businesses in general that basically surround fitness and all other places. And I'll be sharing my experiences so that when you start something, you don't start from the bottom. You basically starting at a good spot, you know. You'll make your own mistakes, but I'm there to get rid of the basic mistakes that we all made that delayed many years of progress, right? And I hope you guys will enjoy today's stream. And I hope you do follow and share and like the other streams because they will definitely help you out in whatever it is you want to do in terms of if you want to grow your business brand, if you want to be big, you definitely want to follow that. Like always, remember to join the ebook challenge, the 12-week weight loss ebook challenge. I'll be looking forward to getting more people to join up and sign up on that. And then more importantly, the Discord is finally up. You're gonna find the link at the top just after this video. The Discord is finally up. If you have any questions about the show or you have any questions about the podcast or anything you basically want to add or want to put on, feel free to add your input to the stream and then definitely get your voice heard out. Also, if you want to ask advice directly and you want to be able to talk to me on a day-to-day, that's also a really good platform to get me on. And I will be adding other mentors in the future in fields that I'm not necessarily an expert in because we're trying to build a community and we're trying to get everybody in a good position to grow because that's what we want at the end of the day. So today's stream came about while I was on the phone with a couple of mates of mine that were basically inquiring about the challenges in business. They have successful businesses of their own, and then I had another friend actually who kind of fueled my main reason for wanting to start the stream. Was asking because they're about to start a business, right? And they were having challenges, and the main challenge that they were having was negativity that they were getting from family and friends. And this is obviously in the stages where they want to begin, but now they're being flooded in with so much doubt and fear from the loved ones that they have. And they wanted to know, how do you navigate through that, especially when the negativity is coming from home? So what most people don't seem to understand is that this is actually a very big deal. It could actually, it really is what make or breaks your everyday entrepreneur as well as content creator. It really doesn't matter. This is the one thing that destroys a lot of people from even getting out there. And most people just don't start because the one place they want to hear uplifting words and uplifting encouragement and support is the one place they're not getting it, and therefore they throw the towel in very early. So I'm here to help you navigate through that because as much as anyone can tell you, don't mind the haters or don't mind negativity. It's not easy to get through it without like a step by step, because you want someone who can actually relate, right? And it's not easy to get past that, knowing that you want to step by step because you want to know, you want to be able to relate so you can get out of the situation. So that's what I'm going to be doing here for you guys today, and I hope that this thing helps you because from my conversations I had with my friends today, not only did it I feel like it helped them a lot, but it also helped me realize a whole lot of other stuff. And it also, like, obviously just talking to them also allowed me to see that, this thing actually affected me a great deal, and I only really noticed it when I had to put it into um, application for myself. So one thing, and if you're from an African household, like most of us are, or I don't know, but I believe that African Americans kind of like venture through the same thing, because environment, environment, the environment that we're in hasn't, obviously recently that's different, but in terms of our older mentors, our grandparents and parents, and within that scope of people, we haven't actually been gifted with a lot of positive mentors, because there aren't a lot of people who ended up being successful in chasing their dream or chasing the goal of being independent. It hasn't really worked out that well for our mentors that we have at home, because they either don't have the experience, or they just don't have the background of someone who's ever had to uplift someone in that field. And that negativity that you get from home can be addictive. So my first point is understanding the fact that you can be addicted to the pain of the negativity you get from home. Now, most people will be very confused as to what that means, but it's actually something very real and very dangerous. That, first of all, everybody looks to their family for support when they come up with an idea. Everybody looks to their family when they want to start something new and they want to be held up. And you get a lot of doubters, you get a lot of questions, and people mask negativity in the form of some sort of love. And anybody who's experienced it would know that people can try and bring you down, but make it look as if they're looking out for you. And that kills your drive. 90% of the things you want to put yourself into, it hits you hard, because you're looking to hear, oh no, that's a good idea. Or, what, we need someone like you, to definitely do something like this. We believe in you and we're behind you all the way. Most people don't understand how important words like that actually impact the startup of any business or any venture that anyone wants to go to. Knowing that people actually are in your corner, it doesn't, like, you'd be surprised the weight that it carries. And you'll see it from a child's point of view. When you were a child, from childhood going up into adult, because really now you're older, right? Now you're much older, and you really trying to get into starting a business, and you're really trying to get into starting a career with fitness and content creation and all that other stuff. So you want to get into all of that, but the foundation of where this addiction comes from is when you were a kid and you kept on expressing what you wanted to do, and the person you went to was just negative. You wanted to play sports, and they were like, can you even play football? Where did you see someone becoming a soccer star in the family? Does it even pay? Huh? Do you know how many people want to be soccer stars? What makes you different? That is the kind of stuff that we hear. I know it's obviously like present in a lot of households, but I know for a fact that in African households and black households, it's a common thing, right? Now, my mother and my sisters have been very supportive. My dad at one point was also supportive here and there, but this is personal to me, because at one point my dad was not a fan of anything that didn't involve him directly. So there came a lot of negativity from his side, and he's the one person I looked up to the most. So you have to kind of see that the one person that you want to be there for you is the one person that's normally the most negative. And then that negativity causes a withdrawal. Now, all you want to do is impress and live up to this person's expectations, but they're never satisfied and they're never positive about anything that you're doing. And as years build up, you become addicted to that pain, that you end up always starting something but never seeing it through, because that person's voice is in your head, and you always now start pitching your ideas to people, but you're the negative person. Before they can be negative, you say like, "Oh yeah, but I'm sure it's not going to work because there's so many people in this field," and you're so addicted to pain that every time you voice out an idea, you're searching for people to be positive for you. You want people to uplift you because you can't uplift yourself, due to the fact that you got so addicted to this negativity that all you can do is search for it. But you start it first. You throw it in there so that you want people to, you want someone to disagree with you when you're being negative about yourself. And that is the signs of someone who is addicted to the pain that negativity gave them. Because now you're inflicting it on yourself and hoping that someone's going to prove you wrong about something you need to do for yourself. And let me save you right now and let you know that no one is going to believe in you more than you. All right? And it doesn't matter how much someone loves you. I experience it even now. It doesn't matter how much I know. It doesn't matter how many shows I've won. It doesn't matter how many times I've proven to clients that I'm the best at advising and coaching, and how many first places and how many pictures I'm framing up. There's always that one person who'll be like, "Are you sure? Don't you think you should get a job? Because it's not really bearing fruit. You need to find something else because clearly this is not working." And a lot of the time people voice out negativity during hardships because they think it makes them sound smarter. And everybody wants to think that there's some sort of prophet. Everyone wants to believe that they have this magic foresight to predict things before they happen. And 90% of the way people do that is by being negative, because probability says that it's more likely not to happen, especially when you're trying it out for the first few times, than it is to actually happen. And people weighing on that, they're like, "Hey, but I told you, you should take things a little bit slow because there's not a lot of people that are successful." And then when they talk about the successful people, they speak of the successful people like gods. Like, they'll start to say, "Do you think you're Christopher Bumstead? Do you think you're Terrence Ruffin? Who do you think you are?" Right? And this is someone who you're searching for validation from. You're hoping that this person says, "You know what? Who's Christopher Bumstead? You're better." That is what you should be telling yourself. That I'm not the next this person. I am the next me, and that version of me will be the greatest to ever do something. Now, it's not easy. Like I said, this is not something that you just get over, but you need to make yourself numb to validation. Don't do things hoping to be validated, because it gives people a platform to crash you, right? And it's a license, because you cannot validate yourself enough. When you search for validation, you want to hear it from others. You want the accolades. You want the lifetime achievement awards in your first year. And when you don't get that, you go back to that mentality I'm telling that started from home, where your mom was like, "Hey, listen, look at the life that you're living." Your peers, black people know this. Where your mother or your father comes, or your aunt or your uncle comes up to you and says, "Your peers are doing this and this and they're successful. What are you doing differently? Because they're not, they're flourishing and you're still stuck in one place." That negativity is a yoke on the shoulders of many. So I'm not preaching here. I'm letting you know that this is actually a vital tool that you need if you want to be successful in any field, especially business. Because in business, you fail a lot. You fail so much that you start to doubt yourself if this was the right decision. And a lot of the times you definitely be like, hey, this wasn't the right decision at all, because failure is a real thing in business. And nobody saves you from the pain of failing. You just have to go through it and until it betters you, right? So you're going to go into a space where you know you're learning, and you can't learn without failing, right? Because nobody goes into a test knowing everything without learning first, right? And you got to get things wrong in order to remember. Like, if you think about it, half of the things that you remember from school was the one thing you got wrong and they corrected. And when you finally understood it, that's the lesson that stuck, not the things that you just knew off the bat. And business is just like that. The same with content creation. That's why people tell you it doesn't matter what you do, just post the content. Just post the stuff, because you'll learn as you go, right? But you're not going to learn if you're not going. You're not going to learn. Some people want to get home and devise the perfect plan, because everybody wants a superstar story. Everybody wants a super come up. He made 500,000 likes in his first stream, or he got 10,000 subscribers in his first stream. He was destined to be the best. That's what people want. And it doesn't work like that. Because how are you going to know what the next step is if you didn't come up with a lot of other steps that just didn't work? You have to test the formula. Same thing with clothing brands. Same thing with fitness brands. That's why food brands go out, do tastings. And things sometimes don't work out, and you got to start from scratch, but you would have been a better person. Every step forward would have been better than just standing still and planning. Because you standing still and planning, you're just looking at something that's never going to happen, right? You will have the perfect plan that was never tested, and therefore someone else is always going to beat you. And then you become angry, you become mad, and then you become the person who's now negative to your kids because you couldn't achieve your dreams, right? So that addiction to the pain of negativity is so addictive that you sometimes kill your own dreams before someone else gets the chance to kill your dreams. So you want to run away from that. You want to separate yourself from that mentality by only seeing the glass half full. It's not easy. It really, really isn't easy. But it's how you're supposed to speak to yourself, because the day you quit is the day you fail. But the day you don't quit is the day you're still in the game, right? And that there's nothing more important than that. Understand why people are bringing you down. Now, the best way to understand why people are bringing you down, just take some time and look into their lives. Sometimes you can sit someone down and just ask advice, right? And all these other things. But you can look at their life and realize that every time they're being negative to you, they make mistakes. They crack. They'll be like, listen, I wanted to be a football player, but you don't always get what you want. Oh, so because you failed, you have nothing positive to tell me because you failed to be a success with your own dreams. So you're measuring me at the full sum of your failures. And because you couldn't succeed in what you wanted to succeed in, I am automatically always going to fail and be under you, right? The same with the parents thing. If we go back to understanding the parents and why they're bringing you down and why they're not supporting you, look at where they ended up. Look at where they reached. Okay, are you getting advice from a successful entrepreneur in your family when they're talking to you about being an entrepreneur with your businesses? Are you talking to someone who's succeeded? Because I bet you every time that if you go to someone who's actually succeeded in what you want to do, it's very rare you're going to hear someone tell you that you should actually give up if it's not working out in the beginning, because those people failed. They failed and then they tried again, and they failed and they tried again. So a lot of the times, you need to understand where the person who's advising you negatively is coming from, because understanding sometimes heals a wound that you didn't open. Like, you understand, like, oh, I have to understand that this person will say this because they never actually tried to go further than where they are now. And it's easier to forgive them. Once you forgive them for that mentality, they can no longer hurt you. When you fully understand why a person can't advise you the way you need them to advise you, and you realize where they came up short, you transcend. You become so numb to the negativity that this person is trying to bring you that it won't affect you, because you understand. There's nothing more important than understanding, right? And that's what's very important about the points that you need in order to be successful. Another thing, and I mentioned it a little bit before, but this is so important that it needs to be said on its own. Literally search for the positives in everything. Search for the positives in everything, and then you will be able to see a gap in success. Most of the times, like if you read any book about business, starting up a business management, if you look at all the courses and the influencers who talk about it, everyone will tell you the same thing, right? If you wanna find a successful business, try and look for a gap in an industry and exploit it, right? So first you got to look at a company and be like, hey, this company is doing all of this and this, but you know what they're not doing? They're not doing this, and I bet I can come in here. Always look for a gap to enter. And you can't look for a gap if you're always being negative, right? Because you're already going to look at that huge, and you're going to look at Amazon and be like, okay, yeah, but Amazon is already number one and he's a billionaire. No other company can compete with Amazon. Why not? They're not hitting every single area. You got to search hard for that. So you got to lock in. You got to lock in and find that gap. And the only way you're going to find a gap is if you're being positive. Always look for something good in something, and then you're always going to be able to find a way to market it, because when you believe in what you're selling, it's easy to sell it. You won't struggle to sell a product that belongs to you intellectually and spiritually. If you believe in what you got, like, hey, there's absolutely no way someone can't buy this because I want to buy it, but I have it, but I'm selling it. Like, get high on your own supply so much, but not in the physical sense, but get high in like, drink your own Kool-Aid, bro. No homo, but believe in what you're selling and you will succeed. Like, it's not a question of if, it's only a matter of when, right? And that's really what you're aiming for when you're going into any industry. Just be positive. Like, when you look at the bodybuilders, right? I've always expressed how I don't like this specific online coach / podcaster, the host for bodybuilding and BS, because he's always negative. He has absolutely nothing positive to say about anyone, right? And there's also this guy. I think he's self-appointed or appointed by the league to be the athlete's representative. And he gets on and starts talking about how another person will never make it, right? You're in a position where everybody is supposed to look to you to boost the industry that you're in. You want as many people in it who are passionate about it. And you're already telling someone it doesn't matter how hard they work, they'll never be number one. And those are the type of people that you got to stay away from, because, What's the point of your existence? First of all, you didn't even make it, right? You weren't even number one. You weren't Mr. Olympia. But you're going around telling other people that they can't be Mr. Olympia because you never reached that goal. So you want to stay away from people like that. The bodybuilding and BS guy, he'll always sell you something, but he has to bash something else, right? I said it in my first stream and in my second one as well. Every product has a reason that it's there. Everything has a function. You just got to find out whether that function is going to work for you or not. But when you listen to people like the guy I'm talking about, he's going to go out of his way to make something sound like because he doesn't use it and because it doesn't work or because he's selling something else, that thing cannot be used in an application for anyone else besides himself. Like, because he doesn't use it, everyone in the world should not use this thing. Just recently made a video about how fat burners, you stay away from fat burners or caffeine. It works for some people. Yeah, go on peptides so you can tell that he's selling peptides. Yeah, do this, do that, do that, do this. Stay away from this. I mean, if you find something and it's working, why should you stay away because another person is like they mask whatever little success they got as a form of telling people negative things so that they can control some fake form of superiority so they can remain gods, right? People who are negative have a god complex because they believe that being negative is being right. And when they are proven right, that they foresaw it. They're the I told you so people. You don't want an I told you so person. You want a person that's in your corner that says, okay, this didn't work. Let's see why it didn't work and let's try again. Right? And that is the world we live in. You know, you have to be strong. You need to nut up. You need to chest up because you are not going to win. You are absolutely not going to win if every time something goes wrong, you wallow in self-pity and you curl up, and it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen, and you're always going to be stuck in the same loop, and you really don't want that, right? So one way to make sure that you avoid all these things is identify the role models that you want in the industry that you're going after. Identify them, right? Literally go and look for the people that you look up to that have been successful in what you're doing. And look, not everybody, like literally the reason I say get multiple people so that you can come up with your own, like pick what you want from the people that you look up to and then create your own image from that so that you become your own person. You get your own formulas. It's like I said in my stream, I think it's stream 3 or 4, about training techniques and coaching techniques. Just because something doesn't work for you doesn't mean it doesn't work for me. You get what I'm saying? So pick what you like from someone, but the moment they become negative, don't take what they're negative about. Figure it out by yourself, right? Figure it out alone, right? Especially if your heart says, but I want to try it out, you know? I actually want to do it. So where if you doubt, don't. Do what you feel is right so that you can come up and you can be your own mentor one day. So that when you're helping someone who has similar problems like you, you'll know where to guide them, you'll know where to take them. Don't go out your way to say no to something you never tried, especially when you feel like you want to try it. So you need to identify who the role models in that industry are so that you don't go around taking advice from people that have absolutely no idea what to do in the position of someone like yourself. Like, you don't want to take advice from someone who has absolutely no idea what they're talking about, right? So you want to take operating advice from someone who's not a surgeon, doesn't have a PhD, watched a few episodes on House and now believes they're a doctor. You want to take advice from someone like that. So identify your role models, identify your mentors. Take your time out to find them. If you can't reach them on your own, find a way. If they have a platform like mine, then follow and listen and then put into action the thing that you are that the things that you want to take from it. Put them into action. Don't allow yourself to be held by the comment of others because they have absolutely no idea what it is you want to do and what it is you want to build for yourself. So there's industries like obviously business people are commonly like most business people, especially those in a competitive space, they don't like to share. But this is a world where people are sharing all the time. And in my experience, a person who's built up his success from nothing doesn't mind teaching because every time they speak, they're sharpening themselves, right? But people who inherit or people who just go along who just carry themselves and, who hitchhiking other people's success, they're the true gatekeepers because they will take advice that they got from someone else, use it for themselves, and not want to share because they believe they're the only person that's supposed to be in that industry. They believe that they're the only people who should be progressing. And when that happens, you know for a fact that that person was never meant to be a mentor. But a lot of them will put themselves in the position of mentorship because they genuinely feel that they deserve to be heard, even though they're gatekeeping. Because they're narcissists in that form. Normally I don't use the whole narcissistic thing, but that's the true application of it, where they're using you to glorify themselves. They're using you to glorify themselves, and then they just want to uplift their image. That's why a lot of the old school bodybuilders, as much as I love them so much, you hear them all the time in their podcast. They say some unrealistic stuff, and they're negative to the next generation instead of helping out there. Because they'll get on a podcast and be negative about the generation that's present now. Yeah, kids of today, all they think about is gear. We never took anything. And then they start lying. Yeah, we know, we never took anything. For me to be 300 pounds on the off season, all I did was test and deball. You wanna stay away from people that create a God complex around their image. And you want to be around someone who's like, listen, let me sit you down and tell you exactly what it is I did. Right? If they want payment, let them pay you. Right? Let pay them. Right? But always take a consultation so that you know that the person you're talking to isn't afraid to give out gems, isn't afraid to give out advice, isn't afraid to guide you. That's what you want, because you're definitely gonna run into someone who doesn't like teaching. But because he wants your money, he's gonna tell you, just do this, and he gives you something that's already been prepared. If you cannot approach the person that you're paying for mentorship, or if you can't approach your mentor and ask questions, that person isn't a true mentor. And that's what you need to stay with. So, like Theodore Bagwell said in Prison Break, you gotta get out of the captivity of negativity, right? And I feel so old for saying that, but Prison Break is on Netflix, so watch it if you want to understand what it is I just said. But get your head in the game and get out of the space of depending on people, right? Just get out of the space of depending on people. People are always going to be negative, especially when they don't understand. But when you find someone that understands, you're going to find that they're less negative. Get out of the space where you need people to validate your feelings. Validate yourself. Just work, and just get out of the space of needing someone to tell you that you're working. Stop looking for applause. Stop looking for a pat on the back, and just grind. And monitor yourself every day. Take steps every day. Right? Write down. Right? I'm an improv person, but I've been writing down my stuff because I want to see where I go. You see, I want to see what I'm doing, and I want to be able to dot back and be like, okay, where did I start? Okay, things were going well until this point, or things started going well at this point. Let me keep to this. Let me stay on this. That is what you want. So be your own cheerleader, but expect criticism. Don't be, but understand the difference between criticism and negativity. Right? Positive criticism is when someone is trying to build you. Negativity is when someone's trying to break you down. So you want to do that. Save yourself the pain of having to depend on others, but just depending on yourself. Because at the end, those same people, when you succeed, are gonna depend on you to live and to thrive. And they're gonna want connections from you while you're at the top. And you're gonna remember that, hey, while I was fighting to be this person, you didn't want to help me out. You told me I wouldn't be here, but now you need my help. That's the position. Like even if you go in with the revenge mentality, that's the position you want to be in life. So that's it. That's the stream for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and just keep that in mind. I'm not here to preach kumbaya. Right? I'm here to actually go into the root of a problem, and I believe in this stream I've allowed you to show you. Wow! English always leaves me. I've allowed you to see and how to identify the problem. And there's a solution to the problem. I've given you the solution. Identify the problem, the negativity. Identify it how. When this person's being negative, are they going to give you a solution to move forward, or are they going to give you a solution to quit? Right? That's how you identify where the problem is. From there on out, what do you do to get on? What do you do to move forward? And that is what you need to see, and that is what you need in order to strengthen yourself. So I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I definitely enjoyed giving this out, this lesson. Pause. I enjoyed giving this lesson because it's actually something near and dear to my heart. And I hope you guys actually take these tools and use them for yourself. Enjoy. I hope you guys have an awesome day. I will be coming back with a new stream. But like I said, hook onto the Discord. Let's have a discussion. If you need help, we're there to help. And if you just want to contribute to the community, do what you can. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Discord, and I'm on YouTube. Just let me know, on TikTok as well. The links are in the bio. And let's just have a conversation. Thank you guys so much for joining, and I will see you tomorrow.